What's going on, YouTube? I hope you're all doing well out there, and I hope you guys are enjoying the beginning of the holiday season. I appreciate you guys coming into the Man Cave Arcade and hanging out with me for a little while. I am Steve V, and we are going to talk about some interesting news that came out fairly recently, and that is that Basic Fun has acquired Arcade1Up. Now, this news makes me a little bit sad. I'm not going to lie. And that is because I'm a huge Arcade1Up fan. And, it's been a little bit of a bumpy road with the company over the last couple of years. But I always had hope that somehow they would find their way, maybe with the right management and kind of maybe not get back to where they were, because that was just lightning in a bottle, with the whole pandemic and everything. But I was hoping they would at least start, making some new titles and kind of getting back to making these amazing cabinets that we all know and love, instead of kind of re-releasing the same stuff and just throwing different skins on it and not really putting out anything new other than that claw machine, which for me, it was a little too late by that point. But I did have hope that Arcade1Up would somehow, get back on their feet and maybe carry on, as they were the biggest home arcade company as far as just, selling product. They sold millions and millions of cabinets. But we got the news yesterday that Arcade1Up is being acquired by Basic Fun. It did say in the press release, I guess you could call it, that they were acquiring select stuff from Arcade1Up. So I don't 100% know exactly what that means. I'm assuming it's certain contracts that they have with certain licensees and stuff like that. And they mentioned that they were going to continue supporting the current products that are, out at retail, and also the products that we already have in our home that, have online leaderboards and online play. It sounds like they will be kind of running the show when it comes to keeping, those servers running and keeping, hopefully some updates coming if any updates need to be made. So, this was something where, getting an official announcement from Basic Fun on, the Arcade1Up Facebook page, it was shocking, but obviously not a surprise, because we knew that Arcade1Up was kind of, just kind of holding on to a little thread, because they were kind of falling on some hard financial times. And again, they weren't really putting out, products that were really getting a lot of us to want to purchase them. It was more things that were going to kind of appeal to a casual audience. And, they were kind of hoping to get any money they could to kind of go towards, loans and stuff that they had to pay off. But it seems like Basic Fun, who is entering into that home arcade 3/4 scale market, they came out with some products that were very, very similar to Arcade1Up. And it really seems like, they feel like Arcade1Up kind of being connected to them, and also acquiring anything that Arcade1Up still kind of has, to their name. They feel like that's really going to help bring up their name and their appeal in, the retailer's eyes, and also the customer's eyes. Because again, when you see these Basic Fun cabinets, they are very similar to Arcade1Up. So there's a lot of people that maybe, casually would be walking by and see these boxes where they see these arcade cabinets and probably just assume it is Arcade1Up cabinets, because that is the brand that they know, and the brand that was kind of established over the last 7 years. But it is indeed Basic Fun. So it does seem like, Basic Fun feeling like Arcade1Up does have some value to them. And, whether they're just going to kind of take the name and either continue using it, or they're just going to take that name and pretty much just absorb it. And, everything just kind of becomes Basic Fun cabinets and arcade classics, as they have been calling that line. It's hard to know. We don't know yet what they're going to be doing with what they're acquiring from Arcade1Up. Again, I'm assuming it's just, contracts with different licensees, and maybe I don't know what Arcade1Up has as far as just the rights to, particular models and just different ways of constructing the cabinet. I don't know legally what Arcade1Up, has under their banner. It seems like Basic Fun making the cabinets the way they're making them. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's very, very similar, just with, a couple tweaks. So I guess they don't really need to try to copy the exact way of Arcade1Up's, building process. But again, them acquiring whatever Arcade1Up has, I'm sure it's only going to help them in the end. And it just seems like Arcade1Up was just kind of, on a hamster wheel, just kind of moving very slowly. I mean, it's not a hamster wheel that's going quickly. This was like a hamster wheel that was like the hamster was about to pass out. There was really nothing more to Arcade1Up as far as, them really putting out anything special. So they were just kind of running on this wheel, just to stay alive, I guess. So Basic Fun, kind of saying, you know what, we'll take it from here. We'll take that baton and kind of run with this home arcade space and this 3/4 scale plug and play model. This is going to be our thing now. I guess it's a positive. It's just, like I said, for me, it's a little bit sad because that brand meant so much to me for such a long time. I discovered Arcade1Up in 2019, and after I bought my first cabinet, which was the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, I actually went to the States to purchase that because here in Canada it wasn't available yet, and I didn't know when it was coming. It did end up coming like 6 months later, but I needed it then. Like, it was one of those things where I'm like, I have to get this in my man cave, and I ended up going to the States. I picked it up, and it was like amazing. That day is one of like the most memorable days for me as an adult because it made me feel like a kid again. And when I finally built it and had it in my corner in my man cave arcade, it just like, I was so ecstatic. It was so cool to have this cabinet that somewhat resembled, the Mortal Kombat cabinet that I saw in the arcades, and having the ability to play the 3 games that were on there with, my friends and family. It was just really cool. And then from there, I think a week or two later, I ended up going to my Walmart and I picked up the Street Fighter 2 cabinet and the Pac-Man cabinet. And then from there, it was off to the races. The TMNT cabinet, the Star Wars cabinet. I bought an Asteroids cabinet to modify with the Pandora's box, even though I'm not a big modder. It was just cabinet after cabinet after cabinet. And, from 2019 to about 2022, 2023, I was obsessed with the company and obsessed with these cabinets and watching all the content creators that were covering this space, Michael B. the Game Genie, P Dub's Arcade Loft. I was watching the 1UP Weekly when that was around, the Retro Buzz when that was around. There was so many great content creators that gave me the courage to start my own YouTube page and cover this space as well. So Arcade1Up really introduced me to this whole YouTube space that I didn't really know existed at the time, because even though I was a fan of arcade cabinets and retro gaming, I wasn't watching YouTube very often, but YouTube became a big part of my life because of Arcade1Up and me wanting to watch all these creators. And then that kind of, just opened up my eyes to YouTube in general. So Arcade1Up is responsible for my YouTube channel and just um, my passion coming back for retro games. So, it was a really fun time to collect these cabinets and watch everyone else kind of collect the cabinets and just discussing, what was coming out next and what could Arcade1Up improve and, talking about the stuff that they were improving when they started adding the faux coin doors and the light up marquees and also seeing all these third party companies that were also improving the product. It was really fun following the space and being part of this community. So with Arcade1Up being, acquired by Basic Fun, obviously the home arcade space is still going on and continuing. And we got a new player in the field that is obviously going to honor Arcade1Up and maybe do something with the name, or if they don't do something with the name, at least we know they are kind of the flag bearers of that company that kind of started that 3/4 scale cabinet a lot of people were purchasing. So we can't shy away of how big Arcade1Up was. But Basic Fun is going to take that mantle, and they're going to continue on. So as far as me being in this space, I will be watching Basic Fun. I had mentioned that I wasn't a big fan of their first wave of cabinets and just some of the rookie mistakes they were making. But now that they've acquired Arcade1Up, and they're going to learn from their mistakes as well. I'm really excited to see what they do with their Wave 2 cabinets. And that's going to kind of be the company that I'm going to be following the most. As far as the other companies are concerned, they don't really appeal to me. I'm more of a plug and play kind of, recreation kind of guy. Like, that's more the space that I enjoy, in this home arcade market. So Basic Fun is my company, and I will be following them and seeing what they do. At least till Wave 2. If Wave 2 doesn't really pan out for them, that might be it for me. But I will be paying attention, and I will be cheering them on. And they are pretty much the new Arcade1Up by acquiring Arcade1Up. So, I'm going to wave the Basic Fun flag and see what they do. And hopefully they do improve going forward. I really think they can only go up from here because, again, with what they're acquiring and the things that they've probably learned from these first cabinets that they put out in the market, I mean, they can only get better. So again, sad day knowing the company that I was following and the company that really started it all for me might be going away for good. Again, we have to see. I don't know. Maybe they might still use that name. I don't know. Right now, they're using Arcade Classics for that particular product in the Basic Fun library. But maybe they might call it Arcade1Up, and Arcade1Up will still exist through Basic Fun. But maybe that won't be the case, and they will still call it Arcade Classics and just kind of acquire the licenses and the knowledge that the Arcade1Up brand has to still offer them in this acquisition. So we'll see. Either way, I'll be watching, and we'll see what 2026 brings and kind of go from there. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday season. I'll see you guys next year. Take care. Peace.